Imagine, gentlemen and ladies, that one day you wake up to find your reputation under threat after decades of building it. Not from rivals or enemies, but from someone you thought was on your side at one point. That same nightmare is happening to him right now, Papoose claims. Rumor has it in the industry that Papoose is sick of keeping quiet. I wasn't just devastated by Claressa Shields, the self-described jewel of boxing. He is apparently telling interviewers, acquaintances, and anybody else who will listen. She wanted to destroy his career. He explains that it is a deliberate effort to render him invincible in the field, involving, among other things, strategic slander and covert phone calls to event planners. Claressa boasts about making sure Papoose is safe in voice notes, emails, receipts, and even messages, according to sources, inhabits the shadows. However, this is the real twist. Some accounts claim that it wasn't personal but just commercial, because, in addition to mocking Papoose, Claressa's goal was to replace him in the same positions that gave him respectability. Is this a sign that a bad breakup is becoming a serious professional issue? Is Papoose altering the narrative to maintain face? Put on your seatbelt because this rabbit hole is deep. Instead of remaining silent, the room froze as Papoose finally spoke. Nothing witty to share on Instagram. A man staring at the camera, saying the words no one expected to hear, no subtle subliminals. She made an effort to separate us. At first, people thought he was exaggerating because, let's be honest, hip-hop loves a horrible breakup, but there was no typical rumor cycle about who had cheated on him and who he had cheated on. Papoose was trying not to talk about lost love. He was talking about the proclaimed war and Claressa Shields, the suspected criminal. She is the Olympic gold medalist, self-described GWAT, and undefeated fighter, Claressa. Since then, if Papoose is to be believed, he has not lost at the art of professional sabotage. The kind that, according to industry sources, only talk in dimly lit lounges while their phones are pointing down. The relationship between Papoose and Claressa wasn't the only source of tension. Claressa was apparently making phone calls behind the scenes while still smiling for the cameras after the divorce, which is when it allegedly got out of control. A promoter, who of course asked to remain anonymous, told us it wasn't even subtle. When I got a call, it was a voice she employed. Don't book Papoose. You know who not to invite if you want me at your event, she added. Please listen to what Claressa Shields has to say. It's true that this wasn't petty. It was intentional. Papoose has started using phrases like blackballing and career destruction in private conversations for this very reason. Words that you avoid using unless you have actual receipts. Next is the messy part. Apparently, Claressa's side is rejecting all of this as an illogical story. But according to certain whisperers, this goes beyond simple ego injury. Others claimed that rather than just hurting Papoose, Claressa was trying to replace him. Look it over. Papoose gradually gained a reputation as a link between hip-hop and certain sports organizations, planning events, going to charity games, and being that safe yet respectable face you could put on a flyer. However, when Claressa came into his circle, the identical faces started to see her name instead. At first, that felt natural. She's a victor. We could sell her. Her energy has returned. However, the timing is dubious. This information was obtained from a person associated with an event planning team. Papoose was invited to a panel discussion. The panel is being restructured, as we find out a week later. Who is the main draw right now? Claressa is talking about how she has always wanted to mix fighting and music. The emotion was intentional. According to rumors, Papoose started to see a pattern. Then all of a sudden he was no longer getting the calls. He was getting the same invitations that she did. When he inquired as to why, the answers were vague. Alterations to the budget, artistic direction, and schedule problems. But here's the real deal. Maybe that was a fake email that was allegedly released from a mid-level event coordinator. Claressa requested that if she's on the roster, Papoose isn't. Yes, of course. Is it also sincere enough to explain Papoose's latest act of animosity? Completely, huh? Social media is naturally consuming this. Just one similar to a Netflix documentary, Another popular TikTok analyzes the alleged timeline, complete with ominous background music and hazy pictures of Papoose looking increasingly anxious. We shouldn't ignore Remy Ma, as the tweet, which has accumulated over 40,000 likes, goes on to say. She beat opponents in the ring. Now she's knocking out careers. Her likes on some questionable tweets aren't very nuanced, but she hasn't formally responded to these latest accusations. The story of Papoose, the loyal husband being betrayed, has been replaced with one of Papoose, the industry veteran, being forced out of his own lane, leaving people to wonder if Remy knew this was happening all along. Of course, Claressa isn't hiding anything. She recently posted several pictures to Instagram from a business luncheon last week, when she was the keynote speaker. As it happens, Papoose has already performed there as a guest. One of her photographs had the message, "Leveling up means leaving dead weight behind." Whether it was a direct shot or a generic life motto, the internet jumped on it. Papoose is currently adopting a long-term perspective. The idea that Claressa is not the hero society perceives her to be was subtly planted throughout interviews, with brief, reflective comments rather than irrational outbursts or angry tirades. In an interview on the radio, he stated this: "It's not always the ring that's the battleground. Sometimes people in the boardroom are trying to steal your job. And trust me, when you frame a public argument as a fight for survival, the stakes go up significantly." This brings us to the essential question: can Papoose provide evidence for it? Or is he making this whole thing up to defend what he did when something went horribly wrong? Because he has allegedly been putting together a folder in secret. Yes, another infamous folder including call logs, text messages, and eyewitness reports from those who say they witnessed Claressa plotting against him. If this folder exists, your career may be over. For whom, though? Claressa, if the accusations are true. Papoose, if it turns out to be a house of cards built on ego and gossip. In any event, you cannot simply apologize to move past the initial strikes. When it seemed that things couldn't get much messier, the story took a turn when an ex-manager who had worked with both Papoose and Claressa before joined. An unidentified source claims that the former manager has a lot of behind-the-scenes knowledge at his disposal and is considering going public. If it happens, it will be more than a disagreement. It's going to be an industrial earthquake. The previous management didn't remain silent for long. The whispers turned into leaks in a few days, and the leaks turned into loud industry rumors. The purported Claressa campaign against Papoose was more than just a small-scale outburst, according to an unnamed source. Months were allegedly spent organizing it. She exploited Papoose's contacts in the entertainment world, Claressa claims. Dating someone who already has relationships with promoters, label executives, and media outlets would be more effective than building them up over time. Furthermore, once those doors were open, why continue to use the middleman? The text message, "Once I'm in the room," I was allegedly exchanged between Claressa and a close friend. "Don't need Pat there. This is about me now." The remark has been widely shared on Instagram's chaotic gossip pages and even on camera, though its authenticity has not been verified. Papoose's staff has been using a careful PR approach in the interim. Instead of giving everything away all at once, they're letting the drama play out. This interview is very special. The post was unclear. As a result, the story is consistent and skillfully handled, keeping Claressa on the defensive without coming across as needy. But the internet isn't patient at all, let's face it. Fans want to see the entire story, and they want it fast. A team of self-described business experts examined the chronology minute by minute in a single, extensively disseminated YouTube live feed, assessing anything from old concert flyers to archival Instagram postings to illustrate Claressa's alleged takeover. At this point, things get even juicier. According to the former manager, Claressa obtained partnerships by utilizing Papoose's name to persuade event organizers that he would attend, then abruptly canceled and replaced him. The sudden breakup of some of Papoose's long-standing relationships would be explained if that were true. Burns in the workplace are unpleasant. Your stock will also drop rapidly if your name is associated with faulty appearances. We had Papoose hired for a charity event. According to a promoter who went by the moniker Mikey B, we got the confirmation. 2 weeks later, we learn that he has double booked and Clarisse is visiting his apartment. We thought it was a mixed appearance. She's by herself? No. After speaking, she left and posed for photos. Pap was completely unaware of it. If this is accurate, it paints a grim picture. Erasure on purpose, not just betrayal of love. But not everybody is persuaded. Papoose cleverly leaves out in his version of events that, according to certain industry sources, his own booking frequency had been dropping even before Claressa joined the team. He wasn't replaced by Claressa, and one blogger even remarked, "This isn't sabotage. Its relevance has decayed." Suddenly, the game was over. But when you take into account Claressa's social media behavior, the optics are terrible. She posted a video of herself hitting a punching bag and captioned it, "When the former manager's charges were widely known, people can't keep up, so they blame it on sabotage." Her fans adored it. Her critics described her as distant and arrogant, further polarizing public opinion. People are leery of Remy Ma's quiet lurking sideline in the meantime. Her failure to directly confront the dispute, however, was noted by perceptive admirers. But in gossip wars, even the most basic social media behavior can garner media attention. She liked a tweet that said, "Karma, don't miss, it could be about Claressa, Papoose, or something else entirely." The most absurd aspect is that there are currently rumors that Claressa might have her own folder on Papoose, albeit these are obviously unfounded. Rumor has it that it includes details about previous transactions that went wrong, unpaid appearances, and behind-the-scenes activity that could make the tale more favorable to her. This is going to be a campaign of scorched earth as well as a feud. Furthermore, the stakes are rising. Instead of suing for defamation, Papoose claims he is considering suing for interference with business affairs. It's hard to win the lawsuit without unquestionable evidence, according to legal experts. However, the mere prospect of a lawsuit could prove detrimental to their respective careers. Fans are treating this as though it were a heavyweight bout. We are analyzing every Instagram live broadcast, subtweet, and freestyle with mysterious lyrics like fragments of a conspiracy map. Papoose and Claressa's perceived wins and losses are displayed in real time on a scoreboard on one TikTok. But the clearest clue that this fight is far from over is an audio tape that was leaked. In the film, a woman's voice claimed to be Claressa says, "He thought I was just his girl. I was always the main event." Her voice is unsteady, untrustworthy, and possibly fake. In the realm of public opinion, however, perception usually wins out over fact. Now, the rivalry has become more important than the breakup. This test is for survival. You can't outspin, outlast, and outmaneuver the other until the public gets tired and walks away. In a society where attention is a commodity, Papoose and Claressa don't seem ready to be broken. There is one more twist though, that could totally alter the plot of this story. A third person is allegedly involved in this drama, according to a source that we haven't yet recognized. A person with their private complaints, invoices, and a scheme to divulge critical information that could lead to their demise. And from there, ladies and gentlemen, things will get dangerous. Speculation regarding a mysterious third party soon gathered steam. Conspiracy theories are common among fans when the drama gets too complicated, and this one at first sounded like another. However, one screenshot changed everything. An anonymous image of a blurred-out contract with 3 signatures was uploaded to a gossip blog that is notorious for revealing confidential company information. Claressa Shields and Papoose, the first two, were obvious. However, the name matched someone who harbored resentment toward both of them, so on the third, things went berserk. Previously, Derek Heatwave Thomas was a promoter. For those who are unaware, Heatwave was formerly a prominent figure in the underground hip-hop and boxing scene. He booked exhibition bouts and rap performances, among other events. Additionally, he worked closely with Claressa and Papoose for a period. But along the way, a lot of deals went wrong, money disappeared, and animosities grew. According to allegedly leaked direct communications between Heatwave and an unnamed blogger, he has been holding off on releasing a folder of his own until the right moment. He claims in these texts to have proof of questionable actions by Claressa and Papoose, such as making 2 booking appearances and making payments all at once. They are both scammers. Papoose's is the victim. Claressa's is the boss. In reality, they both took advantage of each other and believed that no one was keeping receipts. That's incorrect. Allegedly, one communication stated, "Everything was mine." If that's the case, Heatwave is here to destroy everything, not merely to expose. Why now though? Why bring this out during their highly visible argument? According to one explanation put out by industry insiders, Heatwave is aware that when 2 public personalities are engaged in an attack on one another, they are too preoccupied to defend against more attacks. If his strategy succeeds, he gains the upper hand while they are occupied with tidying up their own mess. The real kicker is that a voice note allegedly featuring Heatwave laughing again reads, "It's funny watching them tear each other apart, when they should be working together to pay me back." Whether or not the video is a perfect example of troll art, it immediately went viral, and fans are now split into 3 categories. Team Papoose, who is positive that he is the target of all the sabotage. Team Claressa, who believes that she is merely shielding her career from a man who is attempting to use her name for importance. And Team Burn It All, who are hoping that Heatwave will let everything go and observe the mayhem. Papoose and Claressa, meanwhile, are in a peculiar predicament for the first time since the start of this battle. They may have a common adversary, but will they set aside their differences to deal with Heatwave, or will their hostility triumph over common sense? A mutual contact allegedly sent out the identical word to both sides: "Heatwave's coming for you both, handle that, then resume killing each other." This source claims that there has been a backchannel attempt at communication, but it has not been a reconciliation, only a ceasefire. Neither party's agreement has been confirmed yet. There are rumors that Heatwave possesses contracts that reveal unpaid appearance fees, emails that contradict their public pronouncements, and even behind-the-scenes video from events that will permanently alter your perception of them. The number of gossip websites is skyrocketing, and a new exclusive claims that the drop will occur at any moment. Countdown threads, reaction memes, and crazy speculations about what the footage might contain are all over Twitter or X, depending on who you ask. If Heatwave's folder is real, hip-hop gossip is going to have its own infinity war. This is only one of the most widely shared tweets. Then there is the paranoia. According to reports, Papoose's team is reviewing previous agreements and purging everything that could be used against him, while Claressa's camp is supposedly contacting people covertly. In a surprising twist, Heatwave himself shared a strange picture of an unlit matchstick on Instagram along with the caption, "Deciding when to strike." She conveyed this message to major advertisers to reassure them that her brand will not be harmed by any subsequent drops. Because, according to certain accounts, Heatwave wants to burn down the entire arena and leave laughing, not triumph in this fight. He might actually succeed, which is the frightening aspect. Any remaining credibility Papoose may have could be destroyed if Heatwave's evidence is revealed. The true risk here is that, should this folder be released, it would not only mark the conclusion of a messy breakup tale but also the start of a controversy that neither of them can completely control. In the chaotic and unpredictable realm of public drama, it is the one unexpected turn of events that no one ever expects. Breakups, betrayals, dubious contracts, and the enigmatic Heatwave folder that may kill 2 careers at once. You've heard it all. How about Claressa? Is she preparing a secret takeover while pretending to be the victim, as some claim, or is she just a fighter caught in the crossfire, her reputation tarnished by 2 men who have grudges to settle? The problem with this game is that perception encompasses not only reality but the entire narrative. Screenshots never die, voice notes never disappear, and the internet doesn't stop when it's bored once the public has decided what is true. We connect the dots even when they are completely lost, and we pull receipts that no one else is brave enough to touch. You will want to be the first to claim that you saw this controversy here before anybody else does, so please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to forgive is to forget you. Which side do you support then? At Claressa's side, are you riding with Papoose, or are you secretly hoping Heatwave will drop the bomb and let them all burn?